Summer is in full swing all across the Northern Hemisphere, and in the NASCAR scene, that means we're hitting a familiar slate of tracks. Michigan and Pocono the last 2 weeks for AARN, and this week, it's Sonoma. 1.99 miles of asphalt spanned from start to finish line around all 12 corners of this NASCAR short layout. A familiar course for any NASCAR fan, as the series has come here for more than 30 years. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Sonoma, California. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV with... Oh, that's the wrong set of graphics. I knew I'd do this to myself today. I'm trying to add more bins, so we have a 1, 2, whatever. And today, these graphics are in 2. I've just hit 1. Anyways. Andrew Cardinale IV with Blue Carl alongside. We have to let the timer go through all of this, and then we'll get the correct graphics on screen. That's on me. To be fair, Blue, it's 9:50 a.m. These guys get up early and race. They need that Bully Dog coffee to keep themselves rolling here today. This is a tricky racetrack. There we go. There you see the All-American Racing Network. A tricky racetrack, and it's good to be here for the Bully Dog 110. Today's coverage is brought to you by the Bully Dog Coffee Company, the All-American Racing Network, and Whiplash Creative. And as soon as we get our wits about ourselves for being up ungodly early, I at least have some sleep. You pulled an all-nighter, but here we go. Let's take a look at the Sonoma Raceway. As soon as this slate moves out of our way, we can do so. There it is, 1.99 miles. It's a classic layout for NASCAR, to be honest. They did run the carousel a couple of times early in their history and more recently, but I like this layout a lot better.
I'm brand new to this track. This is my first time really looking at this track, but when I looked at this onboard, even in the Cup car, which I have been on record saying isn't the greatest car to drive on road, even in the Cup car, it looks pretty fun. You got big uphill from 1 to 2. 2, you drop down a bit going into 3. Then 3 to 3A, you get this another little bit of elevation change, and then it drops back down a bit from 4, then back down a bit to 7A, and then you get a bit of up and down until you get to 8A, and then it starts dropping down again until you get to 11. And then it comes out all the way back around. And man, let me tell you, these turns, some of the trickiest turns I've seen. And I'm a road guy.
Yeah, this is definitely a tricky racetrack for the NASCAR calendar to visit. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series was here yesterday. The NASCAR Cup Series races here today. And the ARCA Menard Series West actually ran here on Friday evening, while we were getting ready for the Steering Wheel Nation Truck Series race at Nashville Superspeedway. But this is a fantastic road course. Of course, you do see the carousel layout that used to be run by NASCAR. It's still run by sports cars and a lot of things like that. IndyCar used to run here and use a modified version through the S's that led into that chicane near turn 9 and then had a different hairpin layout at turn 11. So you see a couple of those different things. You'll see the moto chicane that was used in turn 1 for a bit. There's been a lot done here. There's even a rallycross layout in iRacing. It's not reflected here in this track map, but it does run. Oval. There is an oval, and yeah, that's another one that's not reflected in this track map because it would just be another squiggly in with those hairpins, but there has been an oval now built or added, or at least in iRacing, and it does get used in some facets, just not very often at Sonoma, but it basically just runs in the hairpin. So turns 1 and 2 of the oval are turn 11 of the hairpin, and then they loop back around to that parking lot area that's all flat pavement down there inside of turn 11. So there's a lot of versatility here to this racetrack, and it forces these cars to be relatively versatile to get around this racetrack as well. We can take a look at point standings coming into this morning's race. Zach King on top, Sean Hughes in second. They have stayed the most consistent throughout the course of the season, but I gotta be honest, Chris Romano, Coulter Clark, Jordan White, Cameron Combs, all with multiple wins to their name. They are right behind Zach King and Sean Hughes, and it would not take much to see that order of those drivers at the top change up. And we're also looking for Chris Winstone to start getting onto this graphic, maybe with Thaddeus Friel as well. They are not far off at this point, quickly rocketing up towards these guys, and should soon be making their way into the top 24. You saw Winstone going fastest there in qualifying. Of course, that's a driver we're watching for today, as this is a road course, and he's got all of that GT racing experience. He has been testing with Jordan White and with Coulter Clark, getting ready for this event, just like Watkins Glen back in May, and Chris was a favorite to win that race. It honestly was a shock that he didn't, but There obviously was a lot more going on. A quick look at the series schedule, and you see this is race number 18 of the season. Next up, we go to Chicagoland. We actually have a week off in there, I believe, this coming weekend for July 4th weekend, but we get back racing, I believe, on July 12th at Chicagoland, and then Dover is not far out, and that will be the all-star race, but also a points-paying race, so kind of combining those two things. It'll be a special heat format. More on that later on in the All-American Racing Network Discord server. But then, Blue, as we go on, I mean, we don't have many road courses left, actually, just the one at the Charlotte Roval for race number 32. That is if AARN decides to keep it on the Roval. NASCAR has changed that race to run on the Oval this year. I really hope they keep the Roval. I'm partial to it, but we'll see. I know these drivers here today are probably going to want the Oval.
They're probably going to want the Oval. Yeah, you are right there. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind it. I'm actually not the biggest fan of the Charlotte Roval. It isn't terrible, but my experience to it extends out to driving Mazdas and then LMP3s around it. It did not go well for me in the LMP3.
Look, man, I've had some great experiences there in real life, whether it was watching the races or even being there with some friends running amateur sports car races there. It's just a fantastic little race course that's inside of the Oval, in my opinion, but I understand it's not for everybody. That said, here we are, qualifying happening. We made sure to go live a little bit early so that we could cover this qualifying session. Group qualifying here at Sonoma. I like this. I really do enjoy this format change.
Yeah.
To keep all cars on the racetrack here and not just one car at a time. This also gives these guys extra laps on the racetrack, not just for qualifying purposes, but also just to get more laps on the track, more time to keep running around this facility and keep getting used to it. Here, though, is Chris Winstone provisionally on pole, followed by Coulter Clark and Chris Romano. Romano won back at Watkins Glen, our only road course to this point, but Winstone certainly felt like the favorite. He's now got more and more oval experience under his belt. I really do think this guy is the favorite here today. Second favorite, I would say, might be Coulter Clark and then Chris Romano. So right now it goes kind of in order of qualifying, at least for your top three.
And, I can't put up too much of an argument to that. When these three, Jordan White getting a provisional third right there.
And he's kind of fourth in my mind, right behind Clark and Romano, just because Jordan can be a little bit, maybe more inconsistent. There are times that he just has bad things happen to him. Honestly, most of the time it's his PC. And let's be frank, it's been hot all across the Northern Hemisphere lately, even in France, being hotter than 99% of the world at times. So it's been warm. It is summer. It's the middle of June, the end of June. And Jourdain is from Jamaica, and it's hot there. So I can only imagine that his PC is going to be on the verge of overheating. I guess for him, the lucky part is it is the morning right now, so it should be cooler temps, even though down in the tropics, it's still going to be suffocating.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just here in the Northwest, we've had 90-degree weather these past few days. We're actually getting a break of about 60 Fahrenheit here, which is going to be very welcome and very, very nice.
Let's go on board with Jourdain. It's been kind of up and down here in the Carolinas, but this next week I know is about to be really, really hot. Ambient temperatures, not even real fuel or heat index, but wow, look at that, a 114 out of Jourdain White. Up to pole position. That sets the mark for his teammate Chris Winstone to try to go beat. But on that quick subject of temperatures, it's been up and down. We had a cold front roll through, I think, last week, but we've got the heat dome setting up over the Carolinas this coming week. Ambient temps, not even heat indexes, but ambient temps over 100, even 105 in some places, plus humidity on top of that. It's going to be brutal the next week or two here in the Carolinas. Winstone abandons that lap. He allows, it looks like, the 66 of Mopin to go on through. Cameron Combs, by the way, fifth in qualifying so far. He looks good in this session. Zach King is down to 6th. He obviously be looking for a little more as he just set his best lap, and that puts him back ahead of Combs into 5th position. Elijah Mopin there in 7th. Doug Scalise currently in 8th in qualifying. That lap slower for Scalise. Your top 10 rounded out currently by Hughes and Gross.
And you put the commentator's curse onto Scalus there, going off track right as we switch over to him.
And here's a look at a driver we've actually not seen on screen yet, Joe Conan in the number 72, Joseph Essenberg in the number 10, a couple of drivers that we have not seen, at least in Cup Series action before. So a couple of drivers have been added to the series, as here we go. Chris Romano up to second in qualifying, less than a minute to go. Winstone is in turn 3A now. I don't think, well, actually it's an open session, so there will be some extra time allowed even after the timer runs out. This is the lap though. He has to make it happen right here. And he's got traffic.
Everyone should be able, in my mind, to make it all the way through.
Yeah, this lap is a wash for him.
Left's gone. Left's gone. He knows it.
That's unfortunate.
Best he can do is let his teammate through, though. And hope the teammate can put down something.
And Coulter gets into the 72 of Conan, and that's just what's going to happen with group qualification. It's fun, but it absolutely does have its drawbacks, and you're seeing some of that for some of these drivers as time expires in the session. Jordan White still on pole provisionally. Romano and Winstone still third and fourth, or second and third rather. There goes Friel in turn 11. And I don't think Coulter is going to have a lap that's going to count in here, but he's going to run it out to the stripe. And it will be slightly faster, but I don't think it's not going to count. He had contact in there. Zach King is on a run. Can he go faster?
Final lap here. Zach has to put it down. Put it down and start from fifth. Which one is it, Zach?
Into turn number 11 for Zach King in the number 51. Let's see what the Meatball Motorsport driver can do. He's got coaching from Ashton Crowder as of late. We return 12 to the stripe for Zach King. Can he go faster? No. It'll be a 116.0. That'll keep him fifth place, and he's the final car to wrap up any kind of lap here at Sonoma Raceway. So that will take us into the back end of qualifying and therefore into our race session. We can go ahead and use this time to talk about, of course, the fantasy game. There's a couple of minutes, frankly. Yeah, I think you have until 10:05 to pick, so head on over to the Pitstop TV Discord server if you feel like you can do it quick. You can, frankly. Use this Discord link at the bottom of your screen now to get into the server. If you're already in the server, you can head over to the fantasy category of channels and make your picks for today's race. A couple of minutes left to do it. If you haven't done it, now's the time. I can tell you, Blue, that I do still feel good about my picks, as Zach King must be listening to us. I see him typing. I'm excited to see. My team today is Jordan White, Gregory Van Nice, and Chris Winstone. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Well, you know, I got... Let me double check my picks here. You know, I'm not the most rounded here in this series. I got Jordan, and then I have...
Corey Powell and Joe Essenberg, it looks like.
Powell, yes. And then for the win, I put down Zach. Or fastest lap, Zachary King. Wait, who did I put down for my win?
Chris Romano.
Chris Romano. Okay, I made really good random picks, you know. And you know what? You can just throw in some numbers next to the other numbers, and you're probably going to get something right at some point.
I will say, we'll take a look at the point standings really quick for the fantasy game. Chris Winstone has 2 wins in a row. From Michigan and Pocono the last couple of weeks in this series. We've kept tracking this, of course, through the weeks that we've not covered. I think we did miss picks at Nashville. That's on me again. But these are the standings even as such. And you see Zach King actually now on top. He just passed up Sean Hughes with last week's run at Pocono. I'm close there, admittedly. That's the closest I think I've ever been to the top in one of our sim fantasy leagues. So 19 points out, I'll take it. You were top 10 last time we were tracking this on the graphic. You're now 11th.
My last pick was probably honestly Watkins. I think you dragged me in for one more.
Yeah, I think I got you to pick last week.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you got me to pick Pocono because you just pinged me, and I was. Or wait, did you?
I think you just happened to be awake. Yeah. Well,
I didn't actually do it. I looked at them, I was going to, and then I just didn't. So,
And that's the way it goes. There are drop weeks that we're going to figure in here in a couple of weeks, but we want to get some more scores in the sheet before we do that. A quick look at power rankings as well, and this might be where the drivers find a little more, I guess, value to the information. Look at that. Jordan White, he's on pole, but he's dropped all the way down to 7th in the power rankings. This could be the day that starts to reset for driver 83. Coulter Clark on top at an 82.5. Remember, that's out of 100. So you see the other drivers, 64, 63, 62. Even Doug Scalise in the top 10 at a 47.7. Consider how good Coulter Clark has had to be that high. He's got 6 wins this season in 17 races, and he's missed a few here and there. So it has been a really good season for the 54. That said, let's go ahead and meet our drivers, our starting grid here at Sonoma Raceway. On pole, Jordan White in the number 83 alongside Chris Romano. Back in row 2, it's Chris Winstone and Coulter Clark. Row 3 gives us Zach King and Cameron Combs. A little farther back, 7th and 8th, you'll find Elijah Maupin and the number 16 of Doug Scalise. Back in row number 5, it is Sean Hughes and Thaddeus Friel Jr. 5 more on the grid. Those are Casey Gross, Greg Van Nice, Joseph Essenberg, Joe Conan, and finally, Corey Powell going to bring up the caboose here this morning at Sonoma Raceway. Good to see the number 92 here. He has got some work to do when it comes to the race here at Sonoma Raceway. This is a track, as I said, that has been in the NASCAR space for a long time. In fact, Speedway Motorsports bought it 30 years ago this year, but that doesn't mean that all drivers have a lot of experience here. It is definitely a tricky one, and I avoided it even at one point in time on the NASCAR games way back when.
So you're saying we're racing an anniversary race this year? Is that what I'm hearing?
Something like that. I do want to take a look at Whiplash SimCam's race details quickly. 55 laps, about 110 miles, just shy of 180 kilometers for this race. 3 change sets. There is a competition caution, it looks like I saw at lap 15. I believe the completion thereof, so keep that in mind. We'll watch out for that. Not a stage, but a comp yellow, just to give these guys a chance to kind of catch back up and assess tire wear and kind of go from there and to make small, they can't really make adjustments to the setup, make small adjustments if they need to at that point. Also, race weather brought to you by MX Wraps. There you see, it's toasty. The track temp up at 100 degrees despite the ambient temp being in the low 70s. So here we go. You see the drivers into turn number 11. Jordan White about to give us the green flag here at Sonoma, or rather receive the green flag from Barney the flag man. Slowly through turn 12, then on the power big time. There you see Barney overhanging the flag stand. 55 laps at Sonoma Raceway begins now. Up the hill we go. And Jordan White straight off at turn 1. He's in the barriers. He'll keep it moving. Hang on to it. He's got the power down. He's back on the pavement. It's Romano. It's Winstone. Then it's Clark. Winstone made that pass for second between 2 and 3. He looks on Romano there at turn 4, but holds back. Down through turn 7A for the first time. Jordan White back to 10th place on lap 1.
Jordan's suffering a little bit of something I like called the Lando Norris effect. You put it on pole and you can't convert the first lap. Ooh, someone's off.
Doug Scalise, that is a race over for the 16. The engine is smoking. That means he's done.
Yeah, that's over. And that looked like a big hit too. I looked like a driver error, but a big hit there.
So lap 1 will go complete this time by Chris Winstone, hot on the coattails of Chris Romano. It's the Chris and Chris show at the front of the field. 1 lap complete at Sonoma Raceway. And already on board the number 37. That is maybe the trickiest corner on the racetrack. It's not surprising to me that we saw someone have an issue. Yeah, coming up over the crest at turn 2 is tricky, and Jordan White on cold tires having that error from the pole. I mean, it's understandable.
I mean, it's 2 blind corners pretty much back to back in the form of 2 and then 3A. I mean, I can't say I'd do better.
Got to remind myself, we do have a fast repair, so Doug Scalise is still in the race, but that is the fast repair going to be gone here in a moment. He's still trying to get to the pit box, so he will make it there here eventually. But the number 16 is just now completing lap number 1. So he'll take service and get back out there. Meanwhile, final corner already for lap 2 for Romano, Winstone, and Clark. Romano, perfect corner. Winstone way out wide.
Clark getting alongside around the outside. That's not going to be able to do too much here, though. At least for these first parts.
And Chris Winstone is still very much learning these cars, learning their tendencies, so especially on braking, cooler tires, it's going to take a little bit for him to warm up to the car again on these road courses, but he's been active. It's not like he has just not been in the car since Watkins Glen on a road course. He just has to get back into the swing of things maybe as they go by the lapped Doug Scalise at turn 4A. By the way, to check in on your pole sitter, Jordan White, he is back up to 7th place, but you see the right front damage to that number 83. We have not been green for long, and that car already looks like it's been through a war.
I mean, no more of a war than Doug Scalise' car, if you ask me, but...
This is back to the completion of lap 1. He was 10th place here. Let's just watch from this point on for a moment. And yeah, right into Casey Gross.
Not the prettiest way to make a move, but I guess it's a move.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, when you get behind these guys that you know you're faster than, you have to accommodate their line when you try to go and pass them back, as here's the issue for Jordan at turn 1 and 2 on the opening lap. I think he just overcooked it, drove too hard up the track, and old tires are not going to hold you.
Too fast and got the famous understeer.
Go back, let's watch this. So here's the green flag for Jordan. Wait for it. Slow, slow, slow through turn 12. Power right about here at the restart zone. You can see the dash. You can see how his revs are tracking, and the field kind of backs out early. He charges the corner, and it's the first lap. You've just got to be a lot more careful than that. Moving on, Chris Romano still leading. He's got the lead by about a second over Chris Winstone, and this is something I was kind of worried about. Track position getting the best of Winstone to the 37 and potentially helping the 44. I mean, we saw Chris Romano win at Watkins Glen, and so we know he can get it done on a road course. Admittedly, Winstone's one of our guys, so I made sure to pick him for today's fantasy game, but the 44 was on my mind. I almost went Romano over Clark in Group 1.
Well, I know that I'm looking good for fantasy because Romano is my win pick. So, if we keep it just like this, I think I'll be okay.
Essenberg has taken it to the pit lane. I saw one car slow. That was Powell. That's who that was in turn 3. So he's letting the leaders go by.
I will say, I don't know what the blue flag rules here are. I don't know if they're different from your guys' ovals normally. But watching them treat it like a Formula 1 style blue flag is giving me a little personal giggle to myself.
Yeah, so it's definitely not quite like Formula 1. In this style of road racing, the blue flag is issued to slower cars. It's more so an advisory that faster cars are approaching versus a mandatory kind of pullover.
I'm glad it's known to be that way here too, because I'm watching them pull over, and I know there's a lot of people here on the service who do think it's you have to get out of the way immediately. Do not do that. It will only cause a wreck. I promise you.
I will say, thankfully, there's only, you know, in this case, 15 cars. There's plenty of room to get around here usually. With that kind of car count, obviously we would have loved to see 30 or so here today, but this gives these guys more room on the racetrack. And while it isn't required that they pull over, a lot of these guys are aware that they have a lot less road experience, and therefore stay out of the way. Although Essenberg about turned in there on Romano for turn 7. He would have been entitled to the corner, actually.
He would have been entitled to that corner. It would have been Romano's fault for wrecking him there.
Well, that's just it. That's what makes it tricky. That's why a lot of the guys who know they're a little bit slower on these road courses in these stock cars like to just pull over and let the leaders go. But it can be tricky. The best thing is always to just stay predictable. Just like if you crash, stay predictable. Stay in one spot as best as you can until everybody goes by.
And we're going to hope that they're going to follow that today. We'll find out as these 53 more laps come along.
One car out of the pit lane. There is Essenberg. I'm trying to get to him here in timing. He'll come back up the racetrack and merge in. He is 2 laps down. Meanwhile, Jordan White, we saw him getting through Zach Murtis. He's now, or not Zach Murtis, Zach King. He is now working on 4th place. This is Cameron Combs. So you've had an opportunity now, Blue, to kind of watch these guys tackle this racetrack a little bit. We're on board here with Jordan White, a little more opportunity to tackle even throughout the telemetry. So you can see the gears and speed. How do we feel?
About like the car track combo here?
Yeah, this racetrack in general.
Yeah. I like the track. I think it's a very, very well, like, fun-looking track. Very tricky. I could see lots of hot lapping on this track in something like the 992 Porsche Cup car, or even maybe a GT4. It would also probably be great in Mazdas, to be honest. Mazdas or GR86s, if you ask me. Something underpowered like that. Though I wouldn't hate to see GT3s around here at some point. And I do own the track, so if I do see them run it, I might have to dip my toes into it here.
I think a lot of those cars do typically opt to run the carousel layout, but I really enjoy the shorter layout. I've always enjoyed turn 4A here at Sonoma. One of my favorite road course corners from any series, any track, any layout. It's just one of my favorites.
I might like it with the carousel more, but I don't know. Like I said, I haven't driven the track just yet, so I don't quite have a say currently.
It's been a lap or two around the racetrack with Jordan White. I will say I am so impressed right now by Chris Romano. This is the first real litmus test of Chris versus Chris on a road course, and now Winstone being held up by the lapped car of Greg Van Nice.
But unlucky.
I gotta say, yeah, that's just bad timing getting to the 24 car, but Romano is holding it down very nicely in the race lead. He did get a half second there with the 24 holding the 37 up briefly, but he is doing a really solid job of hanging on to this race lead, keeping a gap, and honestly, I don't think there's any pass in the future for that top spot before the competition caution, certainly, without some kind of real big intervention at that top position.
I would be at liberty to do it unless Winstone could find some pace. Now, I will say something funny here. We are ignoring Clark. We have the triple C's here for the top 3.
This is fair.
We got Romano, Winstone, and Clark. And all their names start with C.
And I think Winstone's letting Clark go. Yeah, he's going to let Clark have the second spot. So that's that road racing coming out. Chris Winstone recognizes that Clark is on his back bumper, lets him go, and look at that. Clark already within a second of Romano as they leave the hairpin.
And I'm looking here, and I see Chris and Colter look in the same channel together. They definitely talked about that. You know, I could just hear Clark telling Winstone, "Hey, I got more pace. Let me chase this guy down and see if I can drag you along. Let me see if maybe I can slow him and bring you here. Let's see if we work something out as a team here. But let me chase him. I got the pace. You don't."
Yeah, Clark has
And,
definitely been saving his tires too. He's on Romano already.
Oh yeah, and some people will get upset at team orders like that, but it's just a sad truth. Sometimes you are the slower car in the team, and you gotta accept that at some point. And I hope Winstone's taking it well.
Battle in the background. How about this? Cameron Combs and Jordan White. This is fun to watch currently. We've been kind of watching them here and there, and White's still unable to get by the 15 car. That might change here soon. Again, racing to about lap 15. I'm not sure if that's going to be the beginning or the ending thereof, but that is where we expect that competition yellow. As here we go, a move from Clark into turn 11. Romano saw it, and he locked up.
Here we go. We got a big long straight to come down, though. Good forward to have better run
Clark's
out.
got it here. He's gonna find a way to force the issue. Yes, up the hill, turn 1 into turn 2. Clark around the outside as he got the spot. He's out wide, locked at the right rear. Romano right back on through for now.
Romano holding on to that by a hair. Very, very lucky for Romano. Romano's got up that defense.
That just wasn't the right place to pass if you're Coulter Clark. Sit in line, wait on right here. Turn 7 would have been the perfect place to do it.
I mean, if you ask me, I think Clark had it. Just the lockup and running wide killed it there.
Well, that's exactly it. He was trying to work around the outside of the corner, and that, of course, put all the weight on the left front, so the right rear picked up a little bit. That's what locked up. And if your tire is skidding along the pavement, it's not doing anything for you in terms of making grip. So while there was less weight on the right rear, you still needed to be turning in order to actually get around the corner, and unfortunately that was not happening for Coulter Clark. It'll be possibly 3, possibly 4 laps to go here until the comp yellow. And Clark has backed off quite a bit. I think he overheated those tires going for the lead, and I'm not so sure he gets back to him now. We'll see.
But you know whose tires do seem to be kind of cooled down and ready to chase? Chris Winstone's. I mean, brought the gap down to 1.5 years, holding pretty close to Clark. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see another swap around. Say, hey, my tires are cooked, it's your turn now. Go for it. Keep us together with it, though.
In the background, Jordan White has made it by Cameron Combs. Also, pit stop here. Elijah Melpin hitting the pit lane early. Zach King is in the pits as well. So service here for a couple of drivers before this competition caution. There goes King. You see him open into his box. I'm surprised by this. I guess I shouldn't be, but I'll be interested to see if any leaders pit. Yeah, there we go. Chris Winstone is in. Clark and Romano continue on. So pit stop opportunity for these leaders. Do we see any others take advantage?
You know what it is? It's the competition yellow that's coming up here.
Yep.
They are pitting early for it so that they can take places. So now if Romano doesn't pit until that competition yellow, then it's a free place for everyone else who's pitted.
Holmes is in as well, out of 5th place. It looks like Sean Hughes has continued on. Casey Gross is coming around shortly. And then Zach King is the only other on the lead lap, and he's already pitted. So Winstone into the box. This should be 4 tires and fuel. We'll stay here just to make sure. No, or yeah, it was right. Okay, it was 4. It was 4. I'm used to seeing on a road course. Well, the time, 14.4, that's definitely 4 tires. Typically, on a road course, these guys have to pit with the right side of the wall, not the left side. Think Watkins Glen. So seeing the left sides drop after kind of confused me, but regardless, this might be the white flag here on the segment, if you will, before the competition caution. I'm not sure. Doug didn't specify if it would be the beginning or the ending of lap 15, but here we go on to lap 14.
We're going to find out soon. We're going to see if Clark could put a move down. Romano, bit of traffic. Messing with it just a little bit, nothing too much.
Up over the hill, there you see 3A. It's so much higher than all the rest of the racetrack. It's all downhill from here to turn number 11. Is there any opportunity for Coulter Clark to get this lead away from Chris Romano before the competition yellow? That track position, oh so important, whether it's pitting, restarting, all of it. You want to be first. On the flip side, Romano has driven a perfect race to this point, even under fire, and there's some contact for the top spot. Clark gives him a shot there through turn 10. Through all of the pressure, all of the fire here, Romano holding absolutely picture perfect, rock steady. And here they go to complete lap 14. To the stripe, it's still Romano. At any point in time now, the series can throw that competition caution. Can Romano hold on just long enough?
Looking to be tricky. 54 has been
there it is.
Places, making contact. There it is.
There's the yellow. Romano hangs on. Coulter Clark will have to settle for second place. White will go third here before the comp yellow, and that means Sean Hughes is the final car before we get some drivers that have pitted. Sean in fourth, Winstone in fifth after his pit stop. He will, I'm sure, stay out at this caution. Casey Gross runs sixth, Cameron Combs seventh. He also pitted, as did Zach King in eighth, Elijah Mopin in ninth, and Doug Scalise technically did pit earlier, but that was only to get his car fixed after his issues on lap number 1. So it's not a stage here. We may as well treat it like one and talk with our race leader at this point in time, Chris Romano. He has endured every kind of advancement from the drivers behind, particularly Chris Winstone and Coulter Clark. And Chris, it's not technically a stage win, but it may as well be here, right? You led at the competition caution here at lap 15. We were impressed with you at Watkins Glen. We're even more so impressed now. How difficult, though, has it been to hang on to this lead so far these opening 15 laps?
The first, say, 7/8 was pretty good, but Coulter was pushing me pretty hard towards the end there. So it was a lot of fun. He gave me a little bump, which I get. He's trying to get by me. But lap traffic's definitely going to play a factor here. But yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good. Definitely lucked out. I hate that Jordan went wide there. I know he's fast, so I'm expecting him to be up here towards the end too.
Yeah, we saw the bump through turn 10 from Coulter Clark right before the caution there. I mean, this is a pretty tight racetrack, right? It's kind of like the short track of road courses that NASCAR has historically gone to. I would expect more of that as the race goes on. What say you, especially on this restart?
Yeah, definitely. The restarts here are always a little sketchy, especially going up to turn 1. It's just blind, and you saw what Jourdain does. Someone on the inside does that, then they're pretty much gonna get ran over. So it's always, you just gotta be careful there. And then definitely, I think there's gonna be a little more bumping towards the end as we get closer to the finish of this race for sure.
And of course, it's been a little while for us since we checked in back at Charlotte in race 14. This now race 18. So you guys have run at Nashville, Michigan, and Pocono in between. What have those three races been like? How is the series kind of feeling to you? I know you're in the hunt for the championship lead, and it's going to be a fun chase when we get there.
Yeah, all those races were good. I had some bad luck at Michigan. I wrecked out on lap 1, I think, so that stunk because I love Michigan. But the other races were good. All some really good racing, clean racing, not a lot of cautions. So it's been a fun season so far for sure.
Chris, it's good to talk to you as always. Best of luck. Every lap led so far. No reason to believe that'll change.
Thank you.
Chris Romano out front. I suppose it technically will change because he's going to have Chris Winstone staying out here at this caution, but otherwise, I can't imagine that Romano will be any less competitive the rest of the race here, the final 40 to the end, Blue. I mean, it's been a great start so far for the 44 car.
I mean, absolutely fantastic. Wonderful defense. I mean, just driving the line sometimes, that's all you need to do. And Romano putting it down perfectly, just showing him, hey, drive this line and you'll get it. Though the 54 is showing some better lines through turn 11, I think getting the line through turn 11 and getting this spot coming into 2 might be 54's plan, but I can't say for sure. There's only one way to find out, though.
Here we go. Here's the race off pit lane. It'll be Romano, of course, over Clark. Not much change there. There's no change there between those three that all exit. And you see Jordan White headed out. Here comes Cameron Combs. He topped off on fuel, which is somewhat surprising. That erases the benefit of having pitted before the caution. Hughes exits. There goes Essenberg. And Elijah Mopin will grab himself a lucky dog.
Where do we go?
What do you say we dial up the driver of the 66 real quick?
I have no complaints.
Check in with how Elijah's doing this bright and early morning. Elijah, it's been a while since we've been here with the AARN, and here we are. You're the free pass under this caution, 9th place. What have these opening laps been like for you in the 66?
Not gonna lie, I'm still kind of new to Sonoma. I've kind of just been feeling the track, trying to, well, keep the car on the track, but all things considered, I think it's a good race so far. Just trying to bring it home and get some good points in. I know I'm just one position south of the cut line.
And a lot of our fantasy players kind of looking to the 66 for some solid points today. It's been a pretty good race for you so far, kind of mid-pack, right in the middle where you want to be. I know there aren't a ton of drivers here today, which actually helps you guys in terms of getting points. You can tell he's hustling the car around the racetrack a little bit, but
Lost it there, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, a lot can happen still, even with just 15 cars. So I mean, yeah, just like I said, try to keep the car clean and bring it home and get some good points in.
Well, Elijah, hopefully we're talking to you again very, very soon. Best of luck. We're always looking for that 66 up front.
All right, thank you.
We'll let him get back up with the drivers he was chatting with. In this case, he's actually racing up there with the Whiplash drivers here today at Sonoma. So we'll let him get back to business as there's the field doubling up, getting ready for our first restart of the race. It'll be Chris Winstone leading Zach King over his right shoulder, Romano and Clark in row number 2. As we get ready for this restart, we can take a look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV. And next up, actually, tomorrow night, some more road course racing. It's the NORA Retro Cup Series 2003 NASCAR Cup Cars at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. I'm excited for that. That is a fantastic racetrack. It's a little bit street course, a little bit road course, and just a whole lot of fun, especially with stock cars. So that's a race that never really happened in real life, but the NASCAR Busch Series did start going there in 2007, went there for a handful of years, and it was always a lot of fun to watch. Drivers like Boris Said, Max Pappas, Marcos Ambrose, and more finding themselves at home there at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And Wednesday, it's the Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym 200, presented by Whiplash Creative. That is at Homestead Miami Speedway. That is an annual charity event that we put on here at Pit Stop TV. We don't host it, but we do broadcast it and have a lot of fun. We've got some real NASCAR drivers in line for that event. Should be an enjoyable Wednesday evening. And then Thursday, race number 1 for the North American Racing League Porsche Cup Division, well, AM Division, for season number 4. They'll be heading to Hockenheimring this Thursday evening, just like the pros did a couple of days ago. You can catch all of this and more all across our social media platforms. We've even been live to TikTok lately, so hello if you're watching over on TikTok today, in addition to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. As far as our streaming platforms, we also post on Instagram and have the Discord server. The field ready to go back racing just about here, Blue. We've got 18 in the books this time, plenty of time left to go. It'll be Chris Winstone leading us back to the green flag. There goes the iRacing.com safety car to the relative safety of pit lane. This could be a crazy one up the hill to turn 1. Everybody keep your eyes peeled. Watch for the 37. Watch for the 83. He's 5th. And everybody in between and behind into the restart zone. Winstone, King, Romano, Clark, White, and Combs, your top 6. Green flag again at Sonoma. And a terrible restart for King. There goes Coulter Clark. He's got the lead by turn 2. Romano in deep. Watch out, everybody. Romano holds it down. Wow. How about that for some excitement? Romano is down to 7th. King is down to 6th. That... I have no words.
Mistakes come quite often on restarts. You got the cold tires, you got the cold brakes. You haven't put pace into it for a bit. So then you come back and you start to immediately put pace in, and then, oh, there's a mistake.
I have no words, and I think Coulter Clark might be off to the races now. He looked really good that opening segment. We might have been all wrong. Winstone might still be a great pick, but might go P2 today. It's a Whiplash 1, 2, 3, and it's given the field Whiplashes. Winstone's letting Jordan White go by into turn 11. There we go, 1 lap complete from the restart. That was a spectacular way to change things up. Romano now down in 6th. Here he is behind Zach King up the hill at turn 2. Suddenly, he's got his work cut out for him. Oh, Combs!
This has been
Around in turn 3. Watch out, everybody. That's a really tough spot to be in. He's blocking most of the racetrack. He's trying to hold steady here. There we go. He'll get rolling finally. He did the right thing, though, holding in one spot, not reacting too early.
cough, 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 cough. A lot of drivers on iRacing.
There were even some rejoin penalties after Thursday's Porsche Cup race at Hockenheim for the North American Racing League.
Oh, boy.
So we've seen it recently as the number 54 will take over. Coulter Clark leading the way by a healthy margin already over teammate Jordan White. The top 3 all working together. Battle now between 6th and 7th. This is Mopin and Gross into turn number 11. Mopin lets him have it. And Romano, by the way, is back up to 4th place. He has gotten by Zach King. So let's go back to that restart. Just like we did on the initial start. Let's see if we can get a look at kind of what happened there. This is a little bit late.
There we go.
So first of all, the 51 goes absolutely nowhere here on the start. Spun the tires, tried to get it back going, lost a ton of time just into turn 1. He's already 4th there. And the 44 up the hill, there was contact with Cameron Combs.
Yeah, a little bit of a contact-induced spin. Getting a little the 44 getting a little spooked, if you will.
And of course, they're trying to get by the 51. Romano had to squeeze to the inside, then through turn 1, he came over a little bit. Yeah, that I think is on Romano. I think Combs was doing his own thing along the right side of the racetrack. Romano was trying to get the angle into the corner, and, well, the angle was the front bumper of the 15 car.
I can't say I disagree there on that decision. You know, 44 just comes over, gets swiped, gets his own punishment for it.
Yeah, you saw him try to get around Winstone. I think Chris, Winstone that is. I want to say just Chris because we call him just Chris in most leagues we cover. But Winstone was trying to take it easy up the hill. That's what allowed Clark to just go on by. You'll see Romano kind of flinch the car right. Wait for it. He closes in, flinches the car to the right a little bit, right there. I think he was just trying to get to the right side of the 37, and there he goes through the grass. Great job, though, of keeping that car out of anybody else, and that could have been so much worse if he did not hold that car down in the dirt. Leading the way, Coulter Clark. 22 laps will be complete this time by. That'll leave us 33 to go. I will say that was a pretty early competition caution. It was definitely a good spot as far as making sure these guys just have a reset early, but still get the opportunity to play some strategy the rest of the way. I don't know exactly what the fuel run looks like. Problems, though, for the 15 car. He is out of the race. This happened within the last minute or so. Let's see what happened to Cameron Combs. Brings it down the pit lane, and I think just exits.
I think it could potentially just be an outside issue. Nothing to do with, the race. It could have just very well been something personal came up. Who knows? Well, Cameron Combs will know.
So he just pulled it into the box and yeah, escaped. So Cameron's done, or so it seems. I don't know that that'll be too impactful on the fantasy side, but that's obviously going to hurt his points total for the day. He's already down in 12th and will continue dropping as Conan, Essenberg, and Powell continue turning laps. And I want to give a big props to those guys that are still in this race despite feeling like they're down and out of it. Even Sean Hughes is a lap down, which is uncharacteristic of him, but it is a road course, and he's an oval specialist, but he's still in this race despite being that one lap down, as is Doug Scalise, as is Greg Van Nice. He's in 11th. Joe Conan is still here in 13th. He's 2 laps down. Joseph Essenberg in 14th is 3 laps down, and then Corey Powell, I guess that was a different car, actually. I think it was Fria letting those guys go. But Powell is 5 laps down, but not quitting. He is still in it, and I always appreciate that about a driver, when they're willing to stay in the race, keep trying to learn, and just not give up. Meanwhile, battle for the race lead. Here we go. Jordan White on the back bumper of Coulter Clark. Here's turn 7A. There you see the 92 just ahead. That could play into this.
Here comes the traffic. Small bit of traffic, but it's the traffic nonetheless.
You see they get right by the 92. That'll now mean Winstone and Romano have to work by Powell, as these two stay very, very close together. Cameron Combs mentioning he is having severe stuttering problems in his sim as, oh no! Jordan White backs up quickly. Let's see, Powell goes around him. He'll get back going. P4 now for the 83. It has been already a day of troubles for Jordan, but both self-inflicted.
But that's gotta be some of the worst ones you could have, is when they're self-inflicted like that, because it was your fault. There's nothing more. There's so many different things you could have done. There's nothing you could really place the blame on. I mean, you can put it on your gear or something, but let's be honest, most of the time, it's not going to be your gear, it's you.
And we saw the mistake, lap 1, turn 2. Went off the racetrack, gave up the lead. That was after starting on pole today. And then right there, had the opportunity to go up the inside of Coulter Clark at turn number 11, and you can't say wheel hop in these cars anymore. It's not a solid rear axle, so it's not wheel hop, but shattered the rears under braking and just brought the car around for a lazy spin at turn 11. So Jordan White back down to 4th. Within 8 seconds still of the race lead, so there's still opportunity to at least make up a little bit of time. I don't know that he gets back up to Clark, though.
It's either that, or I mentioned this to you previously in the race. Or not in the race, but before the race when we were getting ready here. I wonder what everyone has their brake bias set to, because if they have a very heavy front brake bias and you are braking and turning at the same time and you lock something up, you're going to lock your front brakes up. When your front brakes lock up, the rear likes to come around. And that's usually how it goes. So, is it the possibility of Jordan White messing up some sort of trail braking with really heavy front brake bias coming into the hairpin?
If anything, I would think these guys are trying to move brake bias backwards, which you see even there in turn 7, the right front rotors were glowing for both Winstone and Romano. And these cars, they don't do well with that rear brake. They really don't. It can be advantageous at times if you find the right number and the right pressure to brake at, but if you get in a little too hot and have to add a little brake pressure, that's when you're just going to chatter those rears. And again, I think wheel hop is somewhat controllable in a more classic stock car with the solid rear axle. The whole axle is chattering. You can kind of calm that down by putting the clutch in, and it's actually what Shane Van Gisbergen does typically in those kinds of cars to mitigate exactly that. Is he brakes with the clutch in, pulls his downshift with the clutch in. That way he doesn't have to face that wheel hop. It disengages the drivetrain and just allows the rear axle to kind of calm down. In independent rear suspension cars like we have here today, in fact, we can even have a graphic for this. In these independent rear suspension cars, each corner of the car is its own suspension system, the right rear, left rear in this case. And when one locks up, the other one keeps moving. It brings you around. And I bet if we slow mode that corner for the 83, you'd probably see the right rear, just like into turn 1, or I guess turn 2 at the start of the race. It just locks up and he goes off the racetrack. I will say these cars are now on the 670 horsepower package, I believe, the higher horsepower, lower downforce package that NASCAR has rolled out for 2026 for short tracks and road courses. That's also going to play into the difficulties of these drivers today.
Lower downforce?
Yeah, a little less downforce. They have simplified the rear diffuser, and that allows them to kind of put it back in the hands of the drivers a little bit.
Sorry, I
know
just
your non-NASCAR sports car brain is trying to comprehend that. NASCAR things.
less downforce on a road course and then giving yourself more horsepower for the road course with less downforce. What?
NASCAR. Essenberg out in the dirt here between 7 and 8. Look, I can't deny the product that we've had with the next-gen car has been good at several racetracks, but I will always be a believer of the Gen 6 and what it was as a race car. And
Oh, happy halfway, by the way.
yeah,
I'm going to throw that out here real quick. Halfway.
and there we go. Pit stop from Romano. He's going to come into the pit lane. Does this tell us that from here these guys are good on fuel, or does this now mean he's good with one more stop? I'm curious. We saw them do 15 no problem there at the start. 15 back from 55 is 40. So this feels like... I don't think they can do 25. I don't think you can go from here to the end.
I don't think so. But, I mean, I guess we're about to find out.
Maybe Zach Murtis, if he's laying around watching the broadcast, can quickly go get us some intel from the Whiplash drivers in the Discord as Romano's down and away fuel only. That, again, tells me that he's banking on this being a one more stop to the end, so he's going to get some fuel now, get to about lap 40, somewhere in there, put some tires back on, get some fuel back in it, and run to the end. I mean, he was only in the pit lane for 6 seconds, so that looks to me like he just needed a little bit of fuel to kind of bridge the gap. The race, of course, in the hands, though, of Coulter Clark. He is 2 seconds up on Winstone, about 6 up on Jourdain White, and Jourdain White, I admit, still has speed. I just don't know how long it's going to last with these tires, especially if these guys do need to pull the shorter run, as there's the lockup in the right rear from Clark. That's what I'm talking about. You add that brake, as these guys... Oh, and he bullies the 98 off the racetrack there.
Not happy about that, even though it looked fairly self-inflicted. I've seen worse.
Yeah, that was interesting. Thaddeus Friel, of course, really not in the capacity to challenge a 54 car, but I wouldn't be happy if I was in Thaddeus' position there, admittedly. Let's go back. I want to see that from his perspective. So this is the run up into turn number 2. You'll see the lockup from the 54 right there, but then go to the 98 car, and he's kind of minding his own business. And Coulter just kind of misgauged that on entry to 3. I don't think that was intentional, but
No, I know. But it surely looks to me.
yeah, I mean, Thaddeus still needs room to run his race. I wouldn't be happy in his position, but at the same time, that's racing.
You know, at least you don't see a spear coming in from 200 miles per hour. It's a little red, just pew, across the screen. That would be the bad scenario. Oh, there's some damage. Oh no, never mind. I'm just crazy. Well,
No, there is damage. I think he already had that damage, but yes, Thaddeus Friel into the pit lane. He will take service this time around. No leaders came in this lap. Clark continues on. He's down to turn 4. Winstone shortly behind him. Winstone must have had a problem here back into the lap. Perhaps while we were in replay, did he have an issue there with Thaddeus, actually? This is just after we went to replay. Of course, we saw Thaddeus Friel slightly impact the line and the lap there for Coulter Clark. I wonder if the same happened to Winstone here. Maybe that's why Thaddeus hit the pit lane.
Here's the gain. Here's the gain. Oh.
Nearly a bump there at turn 10. Also, I saw the tire tracks there in the dirt in the middle of the S's. I want to see if that might have been the 92 of Powell, or perhaps that was somebody else. Looks like it may not have been Powell. I'm going to look just for some damage. Oh! Then we found it.
Oh!
Somebody... There we just saw it. We just saw it. There's the 75 of Hughes. So replay hunting live with us here. We're going to have 2. We're going to have a compound replay quickly. So Doug Scalise, here's the number 16. Watch him out of turn 7. That was 4A. Here comes 7A. Watch him on exit here. Gets the curb, gets loose. There he goes. And then watch Sean Hughes down into the S's. Here's turn 8A over the crest. Very easy to do that. Very, very easy.
Just the car lifted a little bit there, it looks like to me.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. As much as I like hitting curbs in a stock car on a road course, I don't think this is the road course to do it at.
No, I agree. I think I have to agree with that one. The few times I've seen people truly hit curbs here, it hasn't gone too well.
Well, I should specify, it's not the road course to do it at in this car. So I guess it's not the car to do it in, I should clarify, because this car just does not like those curbs. You see Mopin get loose there on power trying to exit turn 11. Casey Groves pulls away, and Corey Powell lets us know that he is done for the morning, unfortunately. 9 laps down already. He's got the spot at least over Cameron Combs, so he's not last. Hey, Corey, there's at least some solace in that, I suppose. Hopefully he has a good rest of his day as he gets ready for Chicagoland after this.
And then having some info here. About 30 laps of gas, so they will make it on fuel from pitting right now. They get about 30. So
that's interesting. 80% fuel goes for 30 laps here?
I'm just the messenger.
No, that's fair. That is a long time on fuel. As Jordan White finds a tricky spot to go by his teammate Chris Winstone. That was odd, to say the least. I saw it there at turn 12. Not traditionally a passing zone.
See what we have here.
Winstone just kind of running his race, not being super aggressive, and I think that's where Clark and White have gotten him today. Is here's the run into 12. I'm sure that was effectively a point buy. It's just an odd place to do it. And for those of you new to Chris Winstone, he began his career on Pit Stop TV, if you will, as a road course driver in the North American Racing League in GT3 cars. He's never run their Porsche Cup Series, but he is now announcing with us for it. But he is typically a GT3, just sports car driver in general, and that's his background, so... yeah, just like you. So the switch over to stock cars has been an experience for sure. We've even gotten him to run some dirt with legend cars. It's interesting how willing he is to run the oval stuff, considering his background is primarily road. But it's been a lot of fun getting him to run more than just the GT3 cars and more than just the road courses. Admittedly, today obviously is in his wheelhouse a little bit, and then tomorrow we have coerced him into running the Gen 4 car at Montreal for the Nora Retro Cup Series. That'll be a new experience for him to go over there in a much older stock car and get to run with some new drivers. But looking forward to it. And very, very soon we'll be seeing him do a whole lot more oval racing, as I believe we're going to get him to tackle his first full season of stock car racing later on this fall. So keep an eye out for that. But Chris doing a fantastic job. I guess the only thing now is to see if we can get his better half, Emily Shuffles, on here, because she's been running some Legends races with him, and Emily has been doing a fantastic job at just learning that car. She ran, gosh, I think she ran both dirt races a couple of weeks ago at Williams Grove and Cedar Lake. They might not have run Cedar Lake, but I know she ran Williams Grove, and then she ran South Boston in a Legends car as well. She also ran the All-American Racing Network Better Half Dash back in May at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the ARCA Menard Series cars. So Emily has been getting a lot more experience under her belt, and I think soon Chris Winstone might just turn her into a bit more of a part-time to full-time sim racer as the field goes by the 75 of Sean Hughes to put him 1 lap down. 2 laps down, rather.
You know, do you ever just get lost in staring at the cars going around in a funny circle?
Yes.
Or is that just me? Yeah, okay.
Not typically.
It's still mesmerizing, you know?
Not typically in these races, but I can tell you, especially when we were doing the Majors 24 the last couple of years.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. Any endurance race broadcast, I love doing them. I really do. I have a very large passion for endurance racing, but it is very easy to get lulled into, well, just that, a lull in those endurance broadcasts. And
what a move.
Yeah, that was bold through turn 1, and he's off. He's going to pay for it on exit. Here comes Jourdain White back into the conversation. So the Whiplash Racing drivers keeping themselves honest and keeping things interesting for the race lead. Clark now has to get by Thaddeus Friel again. There's Essenberg up the road. This is going to be tricky, and Jourdain White will not back down from an opportunity to go for the lead. Here he goes, turn 7. Clark,
Let's finish it, boys.
Little Pruitt fade there into the braking zone. Friel goes way out in the dirt.
Mowing some grass of the dead kind, but that's okay.
If NASCAR would just come race here in March, it would look so much better. They used to race in May at Sonoma, and that's at least closer to spring. I mean, it is spring. It feels like summer in lower latitudes, but I suppose up in Northern California, that's probably still spring. As here comes Coulter Clark to the pit lane. He's going to get service. Here comes White with him and Winstone. So all three had a number. They have pitted, and this will carry them to the end. The question now, who takes tires of this bunch? Do any of them take tires? We're about to find out. Coulter Clark will drop into the box here. White will follow, and Winstone is in there. You see Essenberg pitting in the background as well. Clark is taking right sides. Winstone and White are taking right sides. I'd imagine that's 4 then all around, and certainly 4 for each.
I was gonna say, why not take, if you're gonna take just one side, why not do your lefts? Because you're putting more weight on your lefts throughout most of the track. If you're only gonna take one pair, but they took all, so it's okay. My brain is satisfied.
So the H hit the racetrack again. The problem for them is they are about 9 seconds behind Chris Romano, who has taken fuel to go to the end. The saving grace there is King and Mopin still need to pit one more time to go to the end of the race, and it looks like King is pitting this time. So here comes Zach King in the 51. He'll grab service. Does he take tires?
Or is he gonna do some sort of silly magic trick and get out of it?
If anybody is going to try something different in the pit lane, I would not put it past the 51 of Zach King.
I feel like most of the joke went over your head, but you know what? That's the proper way to take it as well.
Look,
It feels like it's late night.
it's 11 a.m.
So,
I know you stayed up all night. I at least got sleep, so fair. I'll admittedly, as he's fuel only down and away, he's still getting passed up by those Whiplash cars. Though he is back down to 5th. I just don't know about that.
I don't. We'll see how it pays off.
I guess the true
Brad Pitt
test
once said-
will be if these guys can catch Romano.
Absolutely, and it's as Brad Pitt once said, you're not gonna win by doing the same thing as everyone else.
Yes, yes, that
I
is
had
one of my favorite lines.
And it's like one of the few lines in that movie that like actually is a genuine actual like strategy call.
Is that from the Moneyball movie?
No, that is from
no?
the Formula One movie.
Oh yeah, I haven't even watched it. That's a much older line. That is a fantastic line. That's much older than just the Formula One movie.
I'm sure it is, and that's where I know it from. So
I've still got to watch it. Maybe I can convince Kayla the next few days, but
it's good. Give it a watch. It's enjoyable. I enjoyed it.
One of these days. But no, that's a great point, and that extends much farther than just a movie reference. I mean, that is so true, especially in racing. Even our fantasy game that we do, you're simply not going to beat somebody by doing the same thing. Sure, there is inherent risk to branching out and trying something different, but you're simply not going to beat somebody by following their tire tracks and doing everything as they do it. If you're a leader, staying status quo is one thing, that's fine, because you're already out front, you have that advantage, but if you're trying to catch somebody, you can't do it by doing the same thing they do.
Exactly that. And little trick for all you kiddos out there looking to get into racing. When you're behind someone, you gotta watch them for a few laps. Look at where you're faster. Look at where they're faster. Look at what they're doing to be faster. If you can't try to replicate that, so that way not only are you gaining pace on them in your corners that you know, but you're not losing too much time in the corners they know, because you're doing almost the same thing there. So that you know where to change it up, and you know where you're comfortable enough to gain quite a bit of time. You will find so much success that way, just believe me. And I wonder if we're going to see any drivers doing a little bit of that here. We saw a lot of drivers in qualifying pretty close together, as we got some fastest laps red and white. Chris Winstone, there we go, with a 14.4. Faster than the qualifying, was that not?
Yeah, that's much quicker than qualifying.
Wow.
About a half second faster.
We are blazing here in Sonoma, both track temps and the cars.
I think the really fast eNASCAR guys are in the realm of 113s, but I gotta say a 114 is unfathomable to me. And these guys are really starting to cook as they run down the 44 car. Yeah, I just don't think Romano is going to be any test for them as they run through the S's now. Romano's down to the bottom of the S's. Have to see if we can find him here. There's Romano. He just went by. Here he comes by The 72, he just got held up big time. Call that another second off of his time ahead. There you see Clark in the background out of turn 10. So that is the gap.
That's a lockout smoke. Saw a little bit of lockout smoke there, so a bit more time.
And so here's this. Here's turn 1. So there's Romano, followed by Hughes, who's a few laps down. Then Essenberg, who's a few laps down. Or rather, that was Conan. Then there is the 54 of Clark, the 83 of White, and the 37 of Winstone. So they are not far back at all. Here's your leader. He's in that lap traffic, passing Conan. That's damage! Maybe. Or rather, that was Clark. My bad.
What?
Regardless. Damage, possibly.
Potential damage to the vehicle that he is driving.
Yes. Yes, that is how that boils down. The car looks okay. I think he's all right, but that little twitch out of turn 4 does scare me a little bit.
We'll see here soon. And you run this team, so when you're watching these, I have to wonder, are you like taking notes like mentally, like what to talk to the drivers about after?
You know,
like in the debrief?
we kind of just let them do their thing, but I will say it's about to change a little bit. The game is going to start picking up because I have made a decision. It's a questionable one, honestly, but I'm going to try racing with these guys. We have a couple of races left to go this season that'll still be on Pirate Broadcasting. Just kind of splitting the schedule up a little bit, splitting the load, and what that does is it actually frees up, I believe, Iowa and Michigan later on this season. Clark is out wide. Oh. White followed him. That's not going to catch the 44, guys. I know you've got better tires, but let's cool it. Maybe Zach Murders can get in there and talk to them, because that's not going to catch the 44 car.
And the 44, though, is also having some issues. Looks pretty slow coming out of 2 for a bit there, but
I think it's just the lap traffic, because he also had to get by the 98. Here he goes by the 24. It's the lap traffic holding these guys up. And that's exactly how it is in NASCAR races on road courses. You've got to mitigate the lap traffic. You've just got to get through it.
And I mean, it's going to be all races on road courses, all races in general. You got to just work your way around and learn how it's going to go. And I think this might be something coming over to Winstone. Might be something Winstone might be good at, considering, you know, GT3s and GT3s frequently have some lap traffic, but we'll see. Anyway, you were saying you made a questionable decision. I am very curious, as I'm sure the viewers are.
Well, yeah, so I'm going to decide to race with these guys is what's going to happen. So if we look at the schedule again, Iowa at race 22 and Michigan at race 25, it seems those are the only two that my schedule will allow me to run. But if there's somehow to maybe add another, we'll see. But yeah, and apparently I've been coerced, convinced, whatever you want to call it, to run a couple of these races alongside our Whiplash Racing drivers, and you certainly won't see me breaking down any kind of records or anything, but if I can run even half the race before I bin it, I think I'll be happy, because those racetracks are not exactly in my wheelhouse, that's for sure.
Well, I wish you luck.
I wish me luck too.
You got some fast drivers there.
Yeah, so I'll be in the number 41. You'll see those couple of races on Pirate Broadcasting. Art does a good job. We've been working with him as well on making sure he has cameras and stuff for those races, and just taking care of him a little bit. We appreciate him. I don't want to say subbing in, but taking care of the races that didn't fall within our initial calendar that we lined up with Doug Scalis and in the series. So he's been a big help in that way. Down to 11 laps to go. Yes, he's filling the gaps big time. And I will say, 11 laps to go, that time by the stripe, I am worried that these guys are not going to catch the 44. I just don't think they're going to.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible. I think generally there is time gain for the 54, especially on the 44, but not saying it's going to happen. Because the 44 looks very
And let's look at this. Last lap for each of these drivers. Winstone has fallen off. He actually ran a 119 last lap, so clearly some lap traffic impacting him or something. He's got the best lap of the race. You see that by a wide margin. But frankly, I don't see how this trend is going to work in their favor. And I mean, Clark, obviously there had to be some kind of outside influence there, but he still ran a 117 last lap. And outside influence or not, you've got to be making up time here. And that lap, sure, Clark picked up a half second and change, but it's, I mean, and there we go, locking up off the racetrack. They're pushing so hard, I don't think they're going to get there.
They're just over pushing. It's a common thing to see where the drivers think, oh, doing this will be faster because it feels faster, and it's actually slower. And they don't realize until they get out and they get told about it, and they slap their heads because they feel like idiots. And I've done it so much, you have no clue.
So White goes by. He had the best lap. Actually, no, the second best lap of these four. Winstone was best around the racetrack last lap. But not by a whole lot. And it's about that time. I've been trying to wait as long as we can here to let these guys play this race out. I think it's going to be a relatively straight up nomination for driver of the day here, but we've got to do it anyways. Blue, driver of the day, who you got?
I mean,
You can defer if you'd like.
do you want to take a guess of who I'm going to pick?
Here, I sure can. I can pull them up on camera. I'm gonna go right here.
You know me so well. Yeah, I'm putting the 44 in. I mean, lowest is 7th. Did start second, bit of a messy start to it, but keeping consistent throughout pretty much the entirety of the race and keeping in the lead here. I mean, it's hard to not notice that, especially with a driver in the lead. So yeah, I'm gonna have to take the 44 here.
I guess we'll parry back and forth because I'm gonna go ahead. Man, I mean, this is tough. I do want to look at positions gained really quick before I lock them in. Casey Gross is up 5. That's worth noting for the 77. I do want to note that. I'm not going to nominate him, I will say. But I want to note that. Casey Gross up 5 spots since the start of the race. Zach King right where he started. Elijah Mopin right where he started. But in between those two, you find the 77 who started in 11th and is now up in 6th. So I want to give that honorable mention to him as he slides right as we talk about him. Yep. And maybe that makes it a little bit easier then for me to go down, and I'm going to grab, I think, Coulter Clark. If I had to pick another top driver, the problem with him is he's making a lot of mistakes this back half of the race. He looked fantastic the opening 15. Even shortly thereafter, he looked really, really good. I'm still going to give him a nomination here, but I think with Romano off the board, he's the next best, but Clark has definitely made some mistakes today, unfortunately.
Let's see. Now, it's really funny whenever you do pull up the positions gained, because I take a pick, then you pull up positions gained, and then I look at who my second pick's going to be, and I mean, 5 positions in a track that's kind of hard to pass at.
Then do you want Casey?
Pretty good. I think I'm going to steal Casey from you. You should have taken it when you had the chance. It's like a draft pick in like football or something, you know?
Oh, we do fantasy football.
So I'd pick this. Oh boy.
We do fantasy football. If anybody wants in on fantasy football, you come to the right place. We've got it coming up soon. We've got a dynasty league and a redraft league. Anyways, man,
anyway,
I got to pick between Jourdain and Winstone. Realistically,
I would love to pick Jourdain, but Jourdain just the pace is there, but Orlando Norris level mistakes is just too much to.
Wait, he's in it. He's within a second though of Romano. What happened?
Wait, what the?
Oh, good catch.
Wait, yeah, we got a good catch here. Hold on.
All right, let's go, Jourdain White. Let's go ahead and lock that in. Winstone's not far back either. I'm
Hold
sorry,
on.
Chris Winstone, but for the road course ace, 4th place. Oh, Clark around. Coulter Clark has spun in turn 8 and
don't rejoin like
8A
that, don't
through the
rejoin like that.
S's. But we suddenly have ourselves a fight with 6 to go for the race lead. It'll be 6 to go at the stripe. Holy cow, what happened here? Have the tires plateaued maybe? Or even more, I guess, not plateaued. Have they fallen off a cliff, rather, for the 44 car?
They must have. That's the only thing I can think of. That must have been some really terrible traffic. But I mean, let's just look at the gain as he comes through in the corner here. I mean, let's see.
It's like we looked away for a second to do
That is,
driver of the day. We look back and everything's different.
that's a whole millisecond of gain in a single corner. I mean, and I think we're going to see here coming out of 4A.
And Jourdain will not wait for an opportunity. The first he sees, he's going to go for it. Might be here in 7. Does he go up the inside of the braking zone? No. Jourdain does hold himself back. He's going to wait a little bit longer, tries to get a run here.
Here comes the run. He opened up the corner. He knows what he's doing here. Jourdain coming from GTM, a Roblox game. Now looking for a win here at Sonoma. Eating these curbs, but playing a Roblox game, he still carries through with the general racing line. You want to open it up as much as you can, and we saw Jourdain doing that. I think Jourdain's going to do it again and coming up here.
Here we go, down into the hairpin. There's the move. Jourdain White through to the race lead. The number 83 will lead at the line with 5 to go. We talked very critically about the start of the race where he binned it into the wall from pole position. He didn't even lead out of turn 2, yet he started in first. He was 10th by the end of lap 1, and now, lap 51, he's in the lead at Sonoma Raceway, just 5 laps away from his first victory in a long time.
You know, I think we have to start doing them in the last, 3 laps.
Yeah, for real.
And then, as interviews start going, then it goes live.
And I want to go back here to our power rankings coming into today, because Jourdain White down 6 positions, 5 positions, whatever it is. A number of positions. He was 2nd last time he was on this graphic. He is now 7th. This is going to pump those numbers right back up, but this summer has been rough for him. The last 4 races just have not panned out the way he wanted. The number 83 has faced all kinds of adversity. This is finally a good way to kind of reset things and get back to possibly championship form. At one point in time, he was the championship, maybe the main championship threat, as he joined in a week late. Missed Daytona, but came in for Dover, which was the 2nd race of the season. And like I said, it's been kind of a down spring into summer for the 83, but here he is, back on top, 4 to go.
Is it going to be held on to, or was it just... I don't think... I was going to say, maybe was it just Romano overheating the tires, but looking at the time drop, it's 0.2 a lap. It's not just overheating. It's those tires are gone. They're just gone.
I'm going to try to find what happened to Romano. Bear with me. This is going to be tricky to do. This, I think, is where it happens. Because at this point, here's the 44. That's turn 2. And yeah, Clark is still a ways back. So I think it's this lap where he has some kind of significant issue. You did see him slow there. It might have just been that. That with the tires, because he just kind of slid into turn 1 or turn 2 that lap.
This might have just been the point. Yep.
Slow there at 3A. Bobble.
I think it was just at this point where the tires just left. The tires were done doing tire things, and he lost all of his time because of it.
There is this slower car up ahead. That's Joe Cohn in the 72. Does that play into it? Does he slow him down maybe at turn 10? Based on the closing rate location on the racetrack, that's where I would expect it to be. Here's 9. And sure enough, turn 10, Conan, just made it tight on him. That just cost him time. And then down into the braking zone in 11. He was still a good ways ahead, but that little bit of time when they're encroaching so closely, that'll do it. At that point, you see they're only a couple of seconds back, and then it didn't take much more. So we
I mean, that's
solved
just
the
tragic.
mystery, I think, of all the time lost by Romano, and this will be, man, a whole bunch of what ifs all around. What if Clark didn't spin? What if Winstone had a little more pace, if he was a little more aggressive? What if Romano took tires or just didn't hit so much lap traffic? So many what ifs from this race. What we can tell you, though, is we're about to take 2 laps to go here at Sonoma Raceway, and Jourdain White is the leader. They're putting Casey Gross a lap down this time as he goes and visits the old site of Gilligan's Island. 2 to go. By the way, that Gilligan's Island reference, not even a reference to the show. If you watched NASCAR back in the 90s, you might know what I'm talking about. Specifically at this racetrack. But 2 to go. A couple of tenths separating these two at the front. Winstone third. Clark is back down in fourth. King and Mopin the final 2 on the lead lap. And it looks like King maybe the final as Mopin's just up the road for these leaders. I'll tell you what, Chris Winstone's trying to get there. I don't know that he will, but he's not giving up.
There is some time game back for Romano, so I think the pressure's getting to the 83 here. Potentially.
Here you see the gap from Winstone up to Romano. Now the gap from Romano up to White. This is into turn 11, final braking zone of this lap. White a little wide. Romano takes the better line. But there's the exit for Jourdain White. Back on power, and this time by, it's the white flag. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcam's final time around this 2-mile facility. Can Romano get there?
How desperate is Romano for this win? That's the true question.
He's got old tires. Does he push to try to get back to the 83? Does he just let the 83 have this? I don't know. I don't think Winstone's going to get there. He's still 4 seconds back. There is lap traffic up the road. That's Elijah Mopin. Elijah is working with the 83, the 37, and the 54. I would imagine he will play nicely here for these guys. At the same time, he wants to finish on the lead lap. Through the S's one more time at Sonoma. Chris Romano on the old tires. Jourdain White on the newer tires. I think he's got it here, but it's going to be close. Turn 10 with the lapped car. I think he's home free. The Grand Touring Master, I think we can call him today. Wide at 11. Gave Romano a peek. But back on power and to the stripe, it will still be Jourdain White winning. As Chris Romano spins to the line, Jourdain White is back in victory lane. The Grand Touring Master of Sonoma Raceway. He'll pay a revisit to the site of his mistake on lap 1. As Jourdain White gets to celebrate here at Sonoma Raceway. Winstone and Clark take 3rd and 4th. Zach King will come around to finish 5th. And that will be your top 5 and the extent of our field that finishes on the lead lap.
Well, you know, Romano is going to need to get an extra sick picture after the race. Got one during.
And there goes Jourdain White. He is actually on the carousel. He's given our cameras a hard time of following the number 83. He is taking some exploratory...
Oh.
Don't tell me it just took him out. So no burnouts. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why you should just do burnouts.
Just do it. Just do it.
And now he doesn't have the opportunity to do so. Well, we'll go back and get a look at the unofficial race results here from Sonoma Raceway. A decently quick race this morning, and oh boy! Jourdain White, because he went backwards, is no longer scored first.
What? Okay, hold on. Oh. Is this being held by Doug? Are we holding this?
That's an iRacing DQ.
but it's still a DQ. There's still scoring happening. So
The rest of
Are
the field
we-
had not finished the race. Let's go
So
back.
it's-
Let's see where the 83... So this is turn 1. So where does Jourdain end up going? I would think that Doug will back that up and pull the scoring as it should have been, but I mean, kids, this is why you just don't do this. I get it, you want to have some fun, but
Oh,
is it really worth it?
oh. Oh, we're just gonna have to wait to see what Doug says here. If there's gonna be a ruling on it, even.
So all he did was just run into the carousel layout. Again, look,
As
I get it, you want to have your fun. Don't do this in an official session, certainly, because you will not get your black flag cleared, but the scoring also now... I don't know if we'll get an answer on this, but... I also don't know that race control is obligated to clear this in this case. This is the driver's choice.
Well, okay, I think it's presented perfectly in chat. And realistically, I think this DQ would stick because the track is still a racing surface because scoring wasn't over. There were still cars out on track that were racing, even if they weren't there. So, not in Sim, this would actually be a pretty hefty penalty coming out like this. Like, it would be an actual danger to people.
Well, certainly. And I'm just curious if the 83 is still going to receive the win or not.
It could go either way. It really could. We gotta
it's-
wait on Doug.
it's- Yeah, it's up to Doug Scalus and race control in this case. And what we can do is take a look at the results as they are being
Very
sent
unofficial
to
results.
us by iRacing. Yeah, these are unofficial results. Of course, we know Jourdain White crossed the line first, but what scoring shows us is Romano, Winstone, and Clark, your top 3, then King and White, followed by Mopin, Gross, Hughes, Friel, and Vad Nice. That's your top 10 back to 11th through 15th. Scalus, Conan, Essenberg, Powell, and Combs. And this is very much unofficial. Very much unofficial. We're gonna go back up from the bottom of the top 3, the bottom of the podium. We will start. Boy. Yeah, well, let's start with Chris Winstone. Rather, I think that's the best place to go. Let's just go ahead and start with the driver of the 37 while Doug Scalus figures everything else out. We'll go ahead and pull the driver of the 37, and Chris, I know you've been pretty open about it already in the league Discord, removing your SVG and road course expertise status, but obviously not the showing you would have wanted to have on this road course, but this also is not a track that you see very often in sports cars anymore.
No, I mean, my only experience in this is one Mystic race and then this, so it's been yeah, I'm not very good here. I know I'm slow. Jourdain was just all, like, when we were practicing, I mean, he was blazing fast. He didn't do one today, but he did a 13.7 in practice. I was like, oh yeah, there's no chance to keep up with that dude. So yeah, really good win for him. I mean, I tried to play the team game a little bit too, because I think Coulter was actually faster than me a lot of the time. I don't know. I was just really struggling, fighting the car the whole time. But still, I mean, P3, good result, good team result. So I'm ready to go on to the next one.
And the next one will be Chicagoland Speedway. I mean, do you have any experience there at a 1.5 like that? Obviously, you've run some 1.5, some intermediate tracks this season, but any experience specifically at Chicagoland?
None. I'll have to get that track and we'll see how it goes. But I mean, that's kind of been the story, right? Is basically every track we go to, it's my first time racing there. With the only exception to that was Watkins, which that made a huge difference. But yeah, so every time we go out, it's always my first time on the track, and this season is mostly about learning all these and learning how to be fast at all the different kinds of ovals. Because, like you said, each of the 1.5s, like I was quick at Charlotte, not as quick at Nashville. They all have their kind of different things about them, and I'm just trying to figure that out. So hopefully next season I can, make a solid run at, playoffs and hopefully a championship. So.
And of course, you mentioned the championship, obviously a long ways out to try and make the chase, but I suppose it's possibly still possible. Is there a conscious effort to get there?
Kind of. I mean, it's more a situation where it's like if I can just keep getting top fives, which I think I only have one race so far since I've been doing this outside the top five. I think it was P6. So if I can just keep that up and other people make mistakes or no show or whatever, it's just one of those things. Keep yourself in position, and then if it happens, it happens. If not, then hopefully I can at least be a little bit of a mule for the team and get good data and help those guys. So at least the team can bring a championship home.
And Chris, always good to talk to you. Hopefully we're talking to you tomorrow as well. Have you practiced any yet in the old car at Montreal?
I have. It's honestly, I prefer that one on Montreal than the Cup car. The Cup car, I told King when I did that one, I was like, this is my least favorite thing I've done on a computer. So it was the next gen car at Montreal. But the Gen 4 was actually, I was actually enjoying it. So I was like, okay, well, this is going to be a fun race at least. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Chris, always good to talk to you. Best of luck tomorrow night in Montreal. We'll see how it goes, as you'll be in a gloss black or maybe white, one of the underfunded cars. But regardless, hopefully we're talking to you tomorrow night.
Yeah, really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to do this as always. So appreciate it.
Chris Winstone will go with a podium position this evening for sure. Boy, oh boy, I just saw the post.
We got the news.
Yeah, so I mean, this is what I'm saying. I just don't risk your entire race to go be a goof. I mean, look, we know Jordan White won this race, right? We know he won the race to the start-finish line. The problem is you still have to mind iRacing sporting code and rules. And because Jordan was on the other layout of the racetrack, he was traveling backwards towards the start-finish line before every car had crossed the line, so the race was still actively going, and so the sim has DQ'd him. So the post from Doug Scalis is that the DQ will stand. Oh my gosh.
People are trying to see if maybe there'll only be an exception, though I won't blame Douglas for holding.
No, he's in an impossible position because that's a perfectly valid DQ by iRacing.
Yeah, like in real life, it is like you would get definitely at least a fine for doing that with the race still hot.
And Jordane's argument is that there is a league rule to allow for clearing of black flags if received to avoid a wreck or due to a system error, but there's no system error here. The race is still hot for the other 11 drivers on the racetrack. And look, obviously, it's not 2 minutes. It's for every car to finish the race. That's what it is. It's the sim waits for every car to finish the race, and then we'll consider the race official. And look, I'm Jourdain's team owner. We coach him through a lot of things. I obviously want him to win the race, but I recognize Doug Scalise is in an impossible spot.
There's nothing you can do to make everyone happy here, like truly.
Right. It does seem like Jourdain has most people behind him here, and I think it would be a more popular decision to give him the win. But at the same time, I really hope this is a lesson for everybody. Just don't do it. Just go do burnouts in turn 4 like everybody else.
or just on the start finish line, you know?
I mean, Caden, I hear you in YouTube chat, but if you go to the Nürburgring, the sim's going to wait 8 minutes for every car to finish the race. It's not 2 minutes. It's every car to finish the race. Let's talk to Chris Romano. Let's bring him in. Blue, here he is for you.
Well, Chris.
Oh, boy.
Interesting results here today. But let's go through it bit by bit. We talked to you during the competition yellow, and you looked really strong throughout most of the race, and it kind of just fell apart in the end there. What happened in those kind of like last 5 laps that lost you all the time? We have our theories here, but we want to hear it from you.
I was holding around 4 seconds on Coulter, I think, or Jourdain, whoever was in second at the time. And then I think I was watching the broadcast, and you guys brought up how overshot 1. That's definitely what happened. I almost wheel hopped a little. Well, it's not wheel hop anymore, but I was in second. I think I downshifted too soon. Just slid a whole lot. Had to save a little bit. Lost a lot of speed. And then lap car 2. I managed them pretty good the race, but I think towards the end I just got a little too impatient with them, and that slowed me down too much. But the tires weren't helping either.
Okay. And then, so onto the main situation at hand. What is your view on this whole situation? Do you want to make a comment on it? It's okay if you don't.
No, I do. I definitely came in second. I think Jourdain won the race. I understand the league has their rules, and they're trying to stand by that, which I respect. But definitely, I was talking to Jourdain just now. It's like at the end of the race, if you're doing a burnout, you're going backwards down the track. It's sort of I sort of look at it that way. I understand that the race is still going, but I think it's sort of, I don't know. It's a weird position for Doug to be in, and for the admins to be in for sure.
Yeah, this is the first time I see something like this on the service. So I guess for the season, you have kind of the biggest asterisk next to this win if it sticks as is. But I mean, beautiful drive still. You do deserve a win for your performance here.
Yeah,
It just sad it came in this way.
I messed up that second restart, and definitely had in my head I need to do something different from them just to try and leapfrog them a little bit. And I wish I had a little more tire left at the end, but I'll definitely take second. I mean, I'm going to say I finished second, so, because that's where I finished. But yeah, it was a great race. I'm more than happy with the second place finish for sure.
Yeah. Well, you performed well. It was really fun watching you. It was really fun watching you battle. You had really good fights throughout the race, and next time I'm here, I hope I see you in here again, and hopefully you keep putting on spectacular shows.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Have a good night or day.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is unprecedented in general for everybody. I mean, you see him currently scored as first, and I think Doug is just trying to take a step back and kind of get perspective on this. Let's bring in Jourdain, and this might be a moment where he pleads his case a little bit. And I think Jourdain and I fundamentally sit on different sides of this. Obviously, I still want Jourdain to have the win, but let's talk about it. I mean, elephant in the room here, Jordan. What went on?
I mean, for me personally, I did the Nora race at the same exact racetrack, and then everyone did burnouts after the race, so I thought it was fun. And I thought it would be cool to do it on the drag strip. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be an interesting place to do it, and we're all drag racing after the race, and maybe we could have run a couple of drag races after the checkered flag too. Didn't expect iRacing to disqualify me, and it's a new thing since the update, a glitch I think, where after it black flags you, it just automatically disqualifies you. So even if someone was to try and tell me, pretty much as soon as I turned down the access road, it just like completely killed me. So.
So
Like if I like imagine if I needed to go AFK and I just went down the access road to stay off the track, like that'd still be kind of not okay for it to disqualify me. So
I want to throw my 2 cents into it here because I have watched real life racing. I've seen penalties go ways that I don't want them to go against drivers I like, and almost kind of similar circumstances, not necessarily quite what happened here. But you did go down an alternate path while the race was still live. It wasn't done scoring, and that's kind of the main thing that's throwing a meatball into this.
okay, but
So to
think
speak.
about it, right? Everyone that is still going in the race is literally coming in the final couple corners. Where I am doesn't do anything to where they are. It's not like for example, Watkins Glen. If I'm doing burnouts in a runoff of turn one, where someone might, blow a tire or something, I'm completely more safe going down the access road instead in terms of impeding anyone right there. So I don't really
And
get
yes,
that point you're making.
But hold on. So, are you aware of how scoring works here with iRacing? Even like post race scoring after the checkered flag?
No, I was not aware.
Okay, so instant points still count until every driver crosses the line or until the timer's up. And the timer adjusts to how much. So that includes black flags. So if you did that in an official, I mean, feel free to go do it. It would count.
I know that now.
Get a DQ. But it's same with like track. It's like the same with track limits though. As I found out,
I've seen other people do it. Like just like do burnouts and like at the Roval, I've seen people go to the infield and do burnouts. At this track, I've seen people go to the drag strip and do burnouts. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something cool and fun that would look good for the broadcast. Doing it on the drag strip.
The important part is you've got to wait longer, and I believe there is also access in turn 11 to the drag strip, or at least in that area, since that's where it starts. I think that's just so. Like taking a step back, my message in the league Discord is that, I mean, realistically, everybody believes, right, the 83 should win this race, and Jourdain, you should have the win. But this should definitely be a big lesson learned moment for everybody. Yeah, wait longer.
I understand that, because not everyone knows. I didn't know that. Now I do. Like, I'd be fine if they're to give me like a penalty for the next race, like a pit lane start or something. But like, I mean, I worked hard for this win. Judging going back to Mexico, like I got dumped there, and finally I can do it on a road course. Second place in the Watkins Glen race in this league. 7th in the BRB Daytona race after stepping on myself, and then freaking lost the Watkins Glen 6 hour by 1.3 seconds because my PC crashed. So I finally get it done on a road course. I did have a bunch of mistakes, but I still did what I needed to do, and I won that fair and square.
We'll see exactly what's done. It does look like Doug Scalos is typing in the Discord. We will let him do as he needs to do, Jourdain. I think everybody can agree, right? We all saw you cross the finish line first today. In our hearts, regardless, you're the winner. So carrying that into Chicagoland next up for this series, I believe there's a week off in there. But, as we do approach this chase, obviously you're in a pretty safe spot, but looking forward the rest of the summer, how do you approach these races coming up?
I mean, if I get disqualified here, I get last place points. That takes me out at a regular season championship fight. So there's not really much more point in really trying as hard to get back in, because I felt like this race for me was to prove that I'm still a part of the championship. So And Doug just announced that I'm the winner. So
Yeah, Doug did. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll. Boy, what a day!
5-point penalty and starting in the pits for Chicagoland is what we have.
fair enough. I'm fine with that. I mean, I now know it, you know. So it is what it is.
Boy, oh boy, what a morning in Sonoma. I guess we can now let SVG or maybe AJ Allmendinger, Connor Zill, let's let them know not to go down the carousel today.
Yeah, maybe.
Jordan, let's all laugh about it, move on. You're the winner here at Sonoma, as you should be. I wish we could have seen some burnouts, but we'll be talking to you, I'm sure.
I had a little
Oh,
one
10
in
points.
turn one.
10 points.
There's one thing I want to say though.
Sure.
I was a Grand Touring Master today. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. And
There you go.
this angle right here with Romano going for a slide behind you, I think is rather cinematic. So Jordan, as everybody I think acknowledged you should be, you're the winner at Sonoma. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Yep, thank you. Thank you to Whiplash Cams, Pit Stop TV for all the sponsorship they do. They're not on the card today, but thank you for McConey Setup Shop, and thank you to S Hotels Jamaica. You should visit the hotel. It's really nice hotel rooms and stuff. Lots of fun stuff to do there. And thank you to, of course, GTM and the GTM community. I forgot to send a link today, so I don't know if a lot of them were in chat, but hopefully they're happy with seeing their car in victory lane. So.
Well, I do have one question on the S Hotels comment. Does a vacation to an S Hotel in Jamaica include a personal tour of the island by Jordan White?
Sure.
Fair enough.
Say less. Say
Jordan,
less.
I know it's an odd way to wrap up the day, but you're the winner nonetheless here at Sonoma. I think everybody in their sane mind agrees that it should be that way. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone. I really worked hard for this win, and hopefully it shows that I'm still a threat to win this championship. I've been giving a lot of them away recently. I didn't want to give that one away, even though I almost did.
Just about did. Had to find a new way to do it too. But Jordan, best of luck. We'll be talking to you again soon.
Yep, thank you. Bye, Andrew. Bye, Blue.
And he's also our driver of the day here at Sonoma Raceway. So, North American Racing League driver of the day, race winner, even though it says currently 5th. Oh my gosh. Well, at least now we've got the Jordan rule.
Yes, it's the new Jordan rule. So, can I explain it? I like explaining things.
Absolutely.
So here's what we got going on. The win is staying with 83. It's a 10-point penalty and started from the pits for Chicagoland for the 83. Next time this happens, however, the DQ is going to stick. So drivers and teams, let's remember, don't do stupid things like that until scoring is over. Okay? Let's not have this happen again, because I don't think Douglas is going to be this nice next time. Even if you want it. Rule's a rule.
Well, that'll wrap things up here from Sonoma Raceway. Of course, we talked about the Driver of the Day award there for Jordan. A big thank you to, obviously, Bully Dog Coffee Company. We got kind of sidetracked with all of that. I wanted to get to them a little more, but let's talk about Bully Dog. Of course, founded by Patrick Boulder with nearly 2 decades of experience in the coffee industry. Bully Dog Coffee Company turns the process of making coffee back into more of a ritual, less than just motions that you're going through in the morning, better supporting your caffeine needs. It should be caffeine. I like that. And local dog shelters in the process in central Arizona. Of course, you can order your first pound of Bully Dog coffee for as little as $15. Promo code FAST10 at checkout today. And all of these broadcasts here in 2026 are brought to you in part by Bully Dog Coffee Company. A big thank you to our partners as well here at Pit Stop TV as we wrap the day up here from Sonoma. Whiplash Simcams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murder Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. One more look at what's upcoming for us here, Blue. You see Montreal tomorrow night. From there, we head out to Homestead on Wednesday for the Luke's Playhouse 200, and Thursday we're back at Hockenheim Ring. Should be a lot of fun as we get ready for the summer holiday of July 4th, and It's going to be hot. Make sure to stay cool. Make sure to drink water, all that. You can catch all these broadcasts and more while you're taking refuge in the shade, potentially, here at Pits.tv across all the social media links you see down below. We broadcast to Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. We also post a bit on Instagram, and we, of course, have our fantasy games in Discord. But, Blue, any final thoughts here from Sonoma?
What a situation. I mean, it was a wonderful race through and through. I mean, there really was there was no downtime. There is always something happening on track. I love races that are like that. Hopefully, when I'm here Monday and with you Thursday, hopefully that's still true, and I imagine they will be. First time with Nora on Monday, I suppose, and then I can't wait to see the Porsche Cups go around.
Gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of road racing here on the channel right in the middle of the year, and hopefully we see you all again soon. Again, tomorrow night, the Nora Retro Cup Series from Montreal. You get a look at the old Sonoma Raceway here. It's been repaved and rescanned here on iRacing. But until tomorrow night, we'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.